Welcome back. In this video lecture, we will see injection attacks. What is injection attacks actually? Injection attacks refer to a broad class of attack vectors that allow an attacker to supply untrusted input to a program, which gets processed by an interpreter as a part of a command or query which alters the course of execution of that program. Injection attacks are amongst the oldest and most dangerous web application attacks. They can result in data theft, data loss, loss of data integrity, denial of service, as well as full system compromise. Injection is a major problem in web security. It is listed as the #1 web application security risk in the OWASP top 10 for good reason. What are injection attacks? Injection attacks are attacks in which we give something malicious input to a web application. Then we will see what kind of web application give us as a response. Injection attacks are performed both on client side and server side. The example of client side attacks are cross-site scripting, HTML injection, CSS injection, and so on. And the examples of server-side injections are SQL injection, command injection, CRLF injection, and so on. Interactivity is required for this attack, which means in order to injection attack, user or attacker with web application or user interactivity with the database is required. It is an input-output module. We give the input and receive the output. That's it in this lecture. Thank you and see you in next class. Welcome to our video lecture. In this lecture, we will talk about directory path traversal attacks. So first, we look at what is a directory traversal attack. Okay, properly controlling access to web content is crucial for running a secure web server. Directory traversal or path traversal is an HTTP attack which allows attackers to access restricted directories and execute commands outside of the web server's root directory. So, web servers provide two main levels of security mechanisms like access control lists and root directory. First, we have to see access control list. An access control list is used in the authorization process. It is a list which the web server's administrator uses to indicate which users or groups are able to access, modify, or execute particular files on the server, as well as other access rights. Root directory. The root directory is a specific directory on the server file system in which users are confined. Users are not able to access anything above this root. That's it in this video lecture. We are continuing this in next lecture. Thank you. See you in next class. Welcome to our video lecture. In this lecture, we will talk about directory path traversal attack. One example that how it will work. For this example, I am using webgoat.net taken from OWASP's Broken Web Application project. Let's open up WebGoat. Ensure that Burp is correctly configured with your browser. In the Burp Suite, my intercept is off now. Here you will see that WebGoat web application. So our task is to try to find path traversal vulnerability right. In the beginning of the lecture, I have already told that the vulnerability arises because an attacker can place path traversal sequences into the file name to backtrack from current directory. The classic path traversal sequence is known as ... So visit the web page of the application that you are testing. Now click on Files available for downloads. Back to the Burp Suite and click on Intercept is on. In the Proxy Intercept tab, now access the URL that includes the parameter you wish to test. So what I'm going to do is click on any of the download files link. Here is my proxy is blinking. The request will be captured in the Proxy Intercept tab. Here you will see that this request is getMethodRequest URL file name as a parameter. Right click anywhere on the request to bring up the context menu. Click on Send to Repeater. Here we can input various payloads into the input field of a web application and monitor the response. Side by side, now click on the Go button in Repeater to send the request to the server. You can observe that the response from the server in the Repeater response panel. Continue to monitor the response as you utilize path traversal detection techniques. You will see over here content length is 65577. Now we can check whether our input is used in the field path or ignored. To perform this test, we can compare the response from the server when injecting // and // into the file name parameter. Let's inject // payload. Click on Go button. Here we can see that the response appears unchanged after inserting the // payload. Content length 65577. Now try with // payload. Click on Go. Here you will see over here that content length is changed. Working on the assumption that the parameter you are targeting is being appended to a present directory specified by the application. You can modify the parameter's value to insert an arbitrary subdirectory and single traversal sequence. If the application's response is identical to the initial response, it may be vulnerable. If you find any instances where the application may be vulnerable, the next test is to attempt to traverse out of the starting directory and access files from elsewhere on the server file system. You can access files is dependent on the server and web framework you are testing, like ASP.NET, PHP, JSP, and so on. WebGoat application is using an ASP.NET web framework. Web.config is the main settings and configuration file for an ASP.NET web application. Suppose if we are attacking a Tomcat application server, we might look for a web.xml file. Type /web.config. Hit Go button. Here you will see that web.config XML file. Using this vulnerability, you may be able to traverse out of the starting directory and access a known word reachable file on the operating system in question, // so on, /etc password for Linux OS, // so on, // Windows /win.ini for Windows OS. Let's try it over here. Here you can see that we have successfully accessed password file. Let's look at brief preventing directory traversal attacks. First of all, ensure you have installed the latest version of web server software and ensure that all patches have been applied. Ideally, remove everything but the noun good data and filter meta characters from the user input. This will ensure that only what should be entered in the field will be submitted to the server. In this video lecture, if you have any doubt on any instances, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. See you in next lecture.